Welcome to the FNO InsurTech Podcast, a place where movers and shakers from all points within the insurance ecosystem gather and discuss all things InsurTech. Here are your hosts, Lee Boyd and Rob Beller.
Hey, podcast world, welcome to another edition of your favorite podcast and mine, FNO InsurTech. I am Rob Beller here with my friend and co-worker and co-host, Lee Boyd. Lee Boyd, how are you? I know I made my introduction a little bit longer today because I know that you get all worked up by something in this new technology. We're using a new technology platform now for recording audio and video in our podcasts.
We are.
And when it begins, it gives you a countdown so that you know it's about to begin. In the old days with our old platform, our engineer Al would just press the button and it would start. Boom.
Yeah.
Right?
He'd say the same thing.
Lee would say, okay, I'll start it. And boom, it's recording.
Right.
The new one, Lee will say, okay, I'll start. And it counts down.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask our audience, what do you think it counts down from? 10, 20, 5, 3, 1. How long do you think that countdown is?
You're ready to start. You tell the software to start. What do you think a reasonable countdown is?
What's a reasonable countdown? Now, I'm sure we're getting all kinds of different answers from the two of you that are listening to our podcast.
Our email has filled up with one.
Our email is still empty. But you don't have to answer the question. I just keep that in your mind. Well, it's in our new platform, it's 5. The countdown is 5 seconds. And it makes my friend Lee absolutely crazy.
It is 2 too many. It should be 3. You count down from 10 or you count down from 3. I am ready for this thing to start. 3 seconds is the max it should be. And you know what? It's 5. And I get bothered by that. And I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does. And you want to know what? I'd say we've used this platform 10 times maybe.
Yeah, more than 5.
And every time when I see that 5 come up,
I'm bothered by it every time because it's an awkward amount of time. It's enough time that me and you can still talk during it. That's too long. It should just be 3 seconds.
And because this video is getting recorded right now, you can see how red Lee's face is. I'm not kidding you folks about this. Okay.
That is true. It is.
I don't doubt that it's a little annoying. And it's the kind of thing where I would say, oh, that's a little long. But my friend Lee,
it bothers me.
It's under his skin.
I don't like change. I like things to be a certain way, and that changed. And I wasn't prepared for a countdown to begin with. No one said our new software has a countdown. But whatever, that's not about me. That's not about me.
Oh, no, it's all about you.
It's all about
It's entirely about you.
Yeah.
So this is just all part of the service that we do here at FNO InsurTech. We give you opportunities to get to know your co-hosts.
Yeah. And our quirkiness that comes along with it.
So, yes, Lee Boyd is a quirky person.
Yeah,
you're the first one to admit that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm quirky.
It's part of your charm.
Yeah.
It is part of your charm. Have you become less quirky or more quirky with age?
I think I went through a phase where I was more quirky. I like to think I've settled into people expect who I am. But whenever I find a new group of humans to interact with, I find out that I'm quirkier. Yeah, so I think I'm continually quirky.
I'll speak for your wife, myself, Janine Davis.
Oh yeah.
Those are the people that come to mind.
Yeah.
You're quirky. You're quirky.
I'm quirky.
Quirky guy.
I think we
love you for it. We accept it.
The people who know me the most would say I'm a quirky dude. I mean, it's just who I am. Just who I am.
I'm quirky.
Yeah, you're quirky. You're quirky in a whole different kind of way.
No.
In a different kind of way.
No, I'm odd and I'm
You're
difficult.
Unique.
I'm difficult, but I'm not quirky.
You're unique. You're your own person.
My wife is quirky.
Well, quirky people make the world go round.
Is that so? No, that's absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
Based on the 2 quirky people that have just been brought up. Speaking of quirky, let me ask you another question.
Please.
Are you a pet owner?
I am a pet owner.
How many pets do you own?
We own a lot of pets. I own 2 dogs, 2 hamsters, a couple of fish. That's about it right now.
Okay, so you have 3 kids at home,
I do.
right? In a number of years, less than 10, right? 10 or so. You'll have no kids, or maybe
6 years,
less.
yeah.
I don't know.
6
You'll
years.
have
I'm
no
not
kids
counting
at
down,
home.
but yeah, 6 years.
When you have no kids at home, how many pets will you have?
I hope no more than 1, but we'll have at least 2.
Okay, 2 dogs.
2 dogs.
Okay, you'll always have a couple of dogs.
A couple of dogs who can go to Vail or Breckenridge with us and hang out. Yeah.
Well, that makes you one of the 90 million households in the United States. I don't know how many households there are in the United States, but there's way more than, there's 90 million of them have pets. 90 million have a cat or a dog or more.
I would say most
in the
people have
house.
some kind of cat or dog.
Well, I would say a lot of people do. And
Yeah.
certainly in Waco, everybody has a pet. It's a rule.
But you go to
you
places.
you're not allowed to live in Waco unless you have a pet.
Everyone has a pet. You go to Colorado. We were in Colorado 2 weeks ago. Everyone had a pet. Everyone had a pet. We were the weird ones who didn't bring our pet.
We represent 5, 6, 7 households in our family, and I would say 6 of them have pets. So there you go. And so when you start to think about that,
I just wonder, why are you asking me about pets?
you wondering? Would you like me to tell you? There's a reason, and that is I have something special, very special for you today. Today, for the first time ever, F&O InsurTech is going to delve into the world, the emerging and growing world of pet insurance.
Ooh. We've waited many a year for this day, haven't we?
We have Odie Pet Insurance co-founders, husband and wife, CEO, COO, with us today to talk about pet insurance.
We do. Cannot wait to talk to them. We're going to talk about everything you can imagine. What is pet insurance? Why do we have it? What got them into this? We're going to talk a little about underwriting. We're going to talk about claims. We're going to talk about breeds. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything. And it's a good 45-minute discussion that'll give you some real good insight into pet insurance. And I tell you what, these folks, they know pet insurance, and they care, and they worked all aspects of it. So it's a great group to get on and to talk to Miles and Zabrina today.
It's something that Lee and I have been saying for a while, that we really need to have on a pet insurer, because there are many pet insurance plays in the InsurTech world. And I think you'll understand more of why that is after you listen to our podcast. So
let's do it.
Without further ado, coming to you from Vail, Colorado, Miles and Zabrina Thorson, the CEO, COO, and co-founders of Odie Pet Insurance. Hey, everybody, we are here with our guests, and we're super excited because after hundreds of episodes, we have never ventured down this particular line of insurance, which I think is newer to the insurance world. But we're going to find out all about that today.
Yeah.
We are here today to talk to the co-founders of Odie Pet Insurance, Zabrina and Miles Thorson. Miles is the CEO of Odie, and Zabrina is the COO. And yes, they're also husband and wife, pet owners, and I'm sure many other things. But we're here today to focus in on one particular thing, and that is, what the heck is pet insurance, and why has it become so attractive in the world of InsurTech? Yeah. And so all that said, welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it.
Happy to be here. And where are you coming to us today from? Where are you guys on this summer day?
Well, today we're in Vail, Colorado. Typically, we are in New York City, but we wanted to escape the humidity with some family. So a couple weeks, and it's been fantastic so far.
I'm going to start barking. Is it a nice day in Vail?
It's fantastic.
Beautiful.
What is it?
Sunny and 75.
75.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, any day in Bill is a beautiful day.
Wow. That sounds absolutely wonderful. Well, we're not going to ask you any questions that's going to make you sweat. So, don't worry. So, let's start and either of you can go ahead and pick this up and just answer it however it is. Let's start with the key question. Pet insurance. What is pet insurance?
Absolutely. So happy to talk about this. So I love to describe pet insurance in comparison to any type of like renter's insurance, maybe car insurance. A lot of people try to compare it to medical health insurance, human health insurance, right? And it's really not the same. Unfortunately, in the insurance world, funny enough, pet insurance has been around for about 20 some years. It just seems to be newer, I think, as people really develop a better relationship with their pets. They're more indoor pets. People are bringing their dogs and cats inside. Like that used to not be the thing. They're definitely looking at their pets as family members. So they're looking at ways to make sure that they provide those pets with better health care, better veterinary care. So with pet insurance, we look at pets as property. So that's why I say we like to compare it to a home insurance or auto insurance, something like that. It's something that you value, right? So pet insurance is there to cover those unexpected health events. And a little gruesome, but broken bones, bit by a snake, or they develop cancer, things that you are not readily going to the vet for preventative care. And that is the biggest difference between human health insurance and pet insurance, right? Human health insurance, you want to go to the doctor. They're helping you with the copay to go get those annual visits, to go get your shots, to go get your vaccinations, checkups, etc. With pet insurance, it is really for those unexpected situations.
So would that mean that it's more applicable for an outdoor animal than an indoor animal?
It's for both. So think about, a pet developing cancer or a leukemia or diabetes, right? Those things are unexpected. Sure, there are certain breeds that are more prone to those types of illnesses, which are built into our rating factors. I'm sure Miles will talk more about how that works. But it is definitely for both types of pets, if they're indoor or outdoor. But the one thing that we want to make sure is we're helping these pet parents take care of those large vet bills. Most people, especially younger generations, they don't have enough to pay even $1,000 emergency vet bill, let alone something that's going to be $5,000 or $10,000.
Right.
So we created this product in conjunction with the market and where the market was going and what people were looking for to give people that standard annual limit of. There are definitely some products on the market that go to like unlimited or super high values. We find that most people just need $10,000 a year for coverage. That seems to be about the average to cover something that's pretty unexpected. It's very rare that it goes up into the 20s.
But it happens.
But it does happen.
It can, yeah.
And there must be a demographic reality underlying this, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's certain consistencies that we see across, who's buying pet insurance. Doesn't mean that it's exclusive by any means. I'd say we primarily see the millennial cohort. They're the largest now subset of pet parents in the U.S. For obvious reasons. They're delaying starting families. They're bringing pets into the house. They have usually two incomes, so they're not low income by any means, but they're also very financially savvy. They want to be they use pet insurance more as a financial planning tool. Even if they can afford the $10,000 bill, they'd rather pay their $29 a month or whatever it might be to just not worry about that. We also see some retirees, so fixed income, right, is another great subset of these folks have pets for companionship. And again, they certainly can't afford or don't want to have the financial risk of a multi-$1,000 health event. That said, we do have some rather wealthy people that just see the financial benefit and the peace of mind factor here, and then of course your lower income American as well that could be a younger person that's living in a city and they adopt a pet for the first time, not really realizing that, hey, if there's an unexpected event that's going to cost them $3,000. And so, that's another great kind of subset of our client base as well.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's really not age groups. It's definitely mindset. So people who have owned pets before and realize that they had a health event with a prior pet and have had pet insurance, well, the next pet that they end up getting, they get pet insurance because they've already experienced those super high costs.
Right.
And then you have the other group, right, which are new pet parents. So that's more of an educational hurdle where we need to teach them, hey, before you get to the vet, you need to have pet insurance because by the time you get there and there's a health problem, you're no longer qualified.
Yeah, right.
So,
you have a $980 bill.
Correct.
Welcome to being a pet parent.
Correct. That's right.
How big is this market? I'm guessing it's ginormous. I mean, what percent, what are the numbers?
Huge.
What are the numbers of,
right now
pet owners?
So we cover dogs and cats.
That was going to be a question. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's true for 98% of, pet insurers out there. You start getting into some of the specialty programs with livestock and equine
Reptiles
and stuff like that. But
snakes and turtles.
The bread and butter, so to speak, is house pets, dogs and cats. And right now there's about 2 to 3% penetration rate of the 90 million or something households in the U.S. with dogs and cats.
90
currently
million households.
So
that's just a stunning number.
Yeah. So the penetration rate is so low to date, which is, a huge opportunity. And there are some phenomenal tailwinds. Zabrina mentioned kind of an educational component that's occurring here in the U.S. And so that's certainly driving the adoption rates of pet insurance. But it's growing to, I think, 5 or 6 billion in annual premium in the next 2 years or so. And that's sort of a 20 to 25% annualized growth kind of year over year. And so, our goal is to get it to where it resembles some of the European countries where you get more of a 20-25%.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the explanation behind that?
It's a lot of factors. In some countries, pet insurance is somewhat of a requirement to bring home a pet, to adopt a pet. And so that's obviously largely contributory.
Really?
There's behavioral nuances over in the European markets. They're much more used to what I kind of call micro insurance policies. They're used to having a separate policy for their bike or their laptop or their camera. And pet sort of falls into that ballpark.
It's just another
yes, that's right.
one in that goes in that suitcase of coverages.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And so let's talk a little bit about Odie Pet Insurance specifically. So your job is to sell this product, right? So you're underwriting it, you're getting it out there to the masses. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah. When we started looking at the space, for a number of reasons, we really saw that there was 2 distribution models in the market currently, and one of them was largely relying on vet offices, so vet referrals. To Zabrina's point, hey, your pet's showing these signs. Have you guys considered pet insurance? Problem with that is, from an underwriting perspective, you get some aspects of adverse selection for obvious reasons, and from a client experience or client value proposition perspective, if a vet is recommending pet insurance after a health event has occurred, by definition, you can't get coverage for that health event. And so the kind of value, is diminished in the mind of the consumer through that channel. Also, direct to consumer paid advertising has really been prominent and dominating the space for a number of years, as it has across other insurtech products and lines. So we really wanted to, we come from an agency background. We really wanted to empower third-party distribution channels that, number one, eliminated some of that adverse selection, and number two, put this product in front of folks while they were in a financial or an insurance mindset. So employee benefits platforms, have been very popular and a great source of business for us. Other insurtech, MGAs and personal lines, renters insurance is another example, where this is a phenomenal add-on or upsell. And other, even tech-enabled pet services that are non-veterinary but more preventative care. So televet platforms, online pharmacies, things like that have also been great opportunities to put this product in front of people. So everything
as
that
kind
we
of
do,
an embedded.
yeah,
Right.
exactly. Everything that we do is either sort of through an embedded experience, or in some cases a fully white labeled experience where a partner is integrating into all of our rate quote bind systems, policy admin, claims, FNOL portals, and we kind of power everything behind the scenes for that partner.
Cool.
Wow. That's really neat. And so, I mean, can people come directly to you, or is the distribution only through agents of sorts?
Yeah, absolutely. They can come direct to us. We have our website, getodie.com. And what's really great about working with some of these other partners is that they're not trying to build their own pet insurance company. They love that we already have a brand, that people recognize us. Maybe they saw it on their employee benefits and realized, maybe they left that company and wanted to purchase pet insurance later on. So a lot of these partners are doing a powered by experience with us. So they're like, hey, we're now offering pet insurance powered by Odie. So they recognize that it's going to be with a brand they know and they've seen.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to ask a little bit about the underwriting.
Sure.
In traditional insurance, we have years and centuries of data and all these data points. Do we have all the data that we need to underwrite animals? I guess, do they provide this information? Like, you have to know how long an animal lives and hip dysplasia and what breed. Like, talk to me a little about the underwriting side.
Yeah, so there are data sets available, and also with some of the publicly traded companies in our space, like Trupanion being one of them, we are able to get some underwriting performance, results that's publicly available as well. And I'd say when we first entered the industry maybe 3-4 years ago, the data wasn't as strong, and the even actuarial knowledge around this product line weren't as strong. Given the growth that we've seen over the past couple of years, that's certainly changed. So it is getting better and better. And to your point, having that animal health expertise and acuity is super important here. So we do base the rating largely off of expected lifespans of certain breeds, proclivities to develop certain illnesses or diseases later in life, certain breeds that have early troubles, like the flat-nosed breeds have troubles with breathing and different issues there. So one other thing that we've done at Odie is we've brought in our chief product officer, a gal named Emma, who is an animal health PhD, animal health and sciences PhD. So she's really helping us blend kind of our insurance underwriting background with the animal health expertise, and identifying what age factors, what breed factors, what behaviors of the owner really do contribute to better health outcomes. So
because that has to be played into it.
Yeah.
The owners, like some owners, their animals are their children. Other animals are their animals.
Right.
Right. So you kind of got to factor those, which leads me to pricing. Is it price based on animal, health? I want to keep comparing it to life insurance versus product. So how is it priced?
Right now it is priced, I think, more similarly to life insurance, where you have some banded factors across the animal's breed, obviously dog versus cat, the current age of that pet, and really the zip code, right? So we do factor in expected cost of care, where you guys are sitting in Waco is going to be a bit different than what animal health might cost in New York City. So we do factor all that in. And that's constantly evolving, right? I mean, we've definitely been in an inflationary environment, and we've had to, try to update rates accordingly. So yeah, going forward, we are starting to overlay more behavioral type rating factors. We are starting to look at what foods our insureds are using, and try to proactively make recommendations, provide discounts. We really want to drive certain behaviors. And so that is where I think pet insurance, 2.0 is headed for sure.
We did a really interesting collaboration with a company called EpiPaws recently, where they sent out a bunch of kits to quite a few of our customers. Obviously, the customers had to opt into this. And they did a DNA test and basically could tell you what the biological age of your pet is versus the behavioral age.
And that you can do that with people too. Yeah. No, they have a test for that.
Yeah, it was a really interesting study because every customer had to fill out a questionnaire of what type of food they did, how they gave their pet, what kind of exercise they did. That's what I was trying to say. Supplements that they gave them, how often they went to the vet, if they were already experiencing health issues. And we only took a set of pets that were over the age of 7 years old, because that would give us enough timeline to say, the many years of behaviors that you have done with your pet, how did this affect it long term? So
I'm a little nervous to see how that turns out on mine.
Yeah, so they're still going through quite a bit of that, but I think it's definitely coming in line with our original hypothesis that obesity is one of the biggest issues that we see in pets in the United States right now, and that is causing a ton of other issues. And joint issues. They can't walk, they can't breathe, diabetes, skin issues, ear issues. It causes all types of things. And we really feel that the food pets are being given, not just exercise alone, the kibble and the ingredients that are going into it that are extremely processed are affecting our pets more and more. So that's also been interesting, where we're really trying to look at, does that really affect the pet long term?
I'm sure you'll find that it does.
You would have to.
If my wife has anything to do with it, yes. I think we spend more on our cat food than we spend on our food on a daily basis, without question. But I want to take one step back and talk about how in the world two grown-up people start a pet insurance company, and then let that lead into giving us a little bit more about the specifics about Odie and and how you guys operate, what makes you particularly special, because you've been very generous kind of explaining what the heck this even is. But so I mean, I'm guessing there's a pet involved or something. Tell us the origin story quickly.
Yeah, so Zabrina and I do have 2 dogs, each of which we brought into our respective lives when we were wrapping up college, and then as we started, living together and all that kind of stuff, we kind of doubled up there. And so they were kind of middle-aged at the time, and we were starting to look at pet insurance just for our own 2 pets and our own needs. Coincidentally, I mentioned before we jumped on the call that myself and my family come from a specialty underwriting MGA, sort of a legacy business. And so we get brought a lot of opportunities and problems from other folks. And one of those groups was a large retail large box player that had a big pet practice and RX practice, and was looking at pet insurance as another product to kind of round out the ecosystem. And so they tapped us for some market diligence and all that kind of stuff. And the more and more we looked at it, and we just decided that, hey, this is a huge opportunity. We saw the underpenetrated, metrics here in the US, and really just saw the need as pet owners, literally as the, it's like the old cheesy infomercial. We're not just the owners, we're members, and we saw the need for ourselves, and felt if we were looking at it and saw value, and another large sort of, retail partner was potentially seeing value as a distribution point, there's something here. And so that's how we started building all of the insurance apparatus that is required. So all the underwriting mechanisms and the 50 state filings and the reinsurance agreements and all the stuff that goes into that, which again, we were very fortunate to have those capabilities kind of in-house at that parent company.
Yeah, I mean, that's the key, is you already kind of had a blueprint for starting a company, and it went in there. And so what would separate Odie Pet Insurance
Yeah.
from others in the market space?
Yeah. So our insurance product itself, I'll go ahead and if you want to talk about that,
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So our insurance product itself is very customizable. I mean, as most of them are, but what we wanted to do is break apart how you mix and match coverages. So choosing your own annual limit, choosing your deductible, co-insurance, and kind of what add-on features you want to include with your coverage. So if somebody wanted to add on routine care coverage, they just had a puppy and they know that they're going to have to get their microchip and wellness exams and vaccinations all at once, our routine care endorsement is a great add-on to that. But maybe someone who's already had those things, they might not see as much value, so they can remove that away from their plan. So it was really trying to help all the pet owners find a plan that fit their budget. And that was one of the things that we were struggling with. At the time, we're 20 some years old, right? And living in New York City, it's really expensive there. Adding on pet insurance on top of everything else that we were paying for, it was a price shock, especially for two very large dogs that were already close to 6-7 years old, which is toward their senior years. It's halfway through both of their breeds' life expectancies.
Yeah.
We were seeing, $100 to $200 a month for pet insurance plans. And we're going, you know what? If we wanted to bring more people into the pet insurance industry and make sure that people had coverage, because at the end of the day, our goal is to save pets' lives, right? But we're not going to be able to do that if these new pet owners, these kids, can't afford that. They can afford a Netflix subscription. And if we could try to make it closer to that, even if it's stripping down a very base model of pet insurance, we would much rather have them purchase that and have some sort of a safety net than not doing it at all. So that was a big, a big, I don't know what you call it.
No, it was definitely a
Big win,
differentiator. Yeah. And I think our distribution model allows us to Zabrina's point, lower the barriers to entry because, we're partnering with other insurance platforms, benefits groups, other, animal health services that already have customer bases. And this is something that's fairly easy for them to integrate, add this product line as another offering versus, the direct to consumer route where, a year or two ago, our competitors were spending $300 to $800, $900 to acquire a single customer.
Right.
If you're spending that money, you're going to present a premium plan, right? So our incentives are actually, I think, more aligned with broadening the market than maximizing the revenue per client.
Yeah. I love your approach. I think that affiliating, right? And I mean, I don't know if you consider it affiliate marketing or how you do it, but I love that idea. I love it about it being embedded and going after that play to lower that customer acquisition cost, which for something like this could be substantial because first, I think for tons of pet owners, like before we did this episode, I happened to have to go to our vet just for the routine annual visit. And I didn't see anything in his office advertising pet insurance. And so how does the average potential consumer even get on board with it unless they have a crisis?
Right.
And some incredible expense comes along.
Yeah. Yep. And that's one of the issues that most people were facing when we were putting this product to market is, most people aren't hearing about it until they get to the vet.
Until it's too late.
Or
it's too late.
Yeah, or they're looking at pet insurance online.
Right.
We needed to break that cycle because that's what every pet insurance was doing. Every pet insurance company was doing, right? We were like, no, we need to get in front of these people when they have a new puppy or they just brought home the pet from the shelter. What are they doing to, make that pet feel at home right off the bat? They're purchasing food and toys and they're, maybe purchasing their own health insurance once a year or with their employee benefits and things like that. So how do we kind of break that cycle of only purchasing pet insurance?
I had to laugh that I saw that you guys have televets. And is that what I think it is? Are those vets That
Yes.
we'll
And
have a televisit with you.
Yeah. So it's a perk we offer. Because again, we of course are the financial backstop to all of our pet parents, right? When there is a health issue, but we want to provide them tools to keep them out of the vet if possible, and educate them around other, behaviors and things like that. So our televets are there to like triage potential emergencies, and in some cases say, you know what, you don't need to go to the vet Saturday at midnight and spend $1,000 just to get into the door. Because the client has a copay too. It's not like it's free. You can wait till Monday or whatever the case may be. We also are starting to use the televets to say, hey, can we create a nutrition plan for your pet? And can we do other things like that as well? So, and I think there's some regulations that are coming down the pipeline where televets will be able to prescribe and fulfill.
Can they not right now?
They cannot.
in a couple states, but it's still a little.
But
I would use that I'd be like, look at his ears, see how red they are, and then I'm done.
And I think that's where the industry's heading. So then, as the insurance payer, we can then integrate, a pharmacy solution into our platform to then say, our televet partner prescribed Apoquel, and you can also redeem it through our portal. And oh, by the way, you don't have to come out of pocket because it's covered.
Yeah, that's where it's at. I think that I didn't know there were those kind of regulations around it. I mean, you can prescribe for humans. You would think animals.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the actual claims process. This is something that I've never understood. And I'm a claims guy. I'm sure it's as simple as it comes. So I have your insurance. I have a big dog. He hurts his leg, has an ACL surgery, and I'm out money. Who pays? Do you send me a check? Do you send my vet a check? Do our vets have to accept your insurance? Talk a little bit about the claims.
That is a very important component of all of this. So it does get into some animal health, regulations or lack thereof, right? Vets historically have been very fragmented, oftentimes, single practice type services. So systems and standardized billing codes and all that don't really exist in the vet market. Some folks are kind of working towards it, but that's, we're a ways out from that. So to keep things simple, and there's some pros and cons here, you can go to it with our coverage. You can go to any vet you want, even if it's out of state, you're traveling, whatever the case may be. You do pay the vet, and then we reimburse you once that paid invoice is submitted to Odie.
Okay.
And once the claim is submitted, we try to then utilize as much technology and automation as possible to get eyes on your invoice, cross-reference that with medical records and things like that we have, approve the right dollar amount, and then use, digital payment rails and things like that to get you paid, often sometimes 24 hours, sometimes maybe 2 or 3 days, or sometimes longer if we're missing medical records or something like that. But our goal is to, have it hit your reimbursement before you have to worry about, your credit card statement.
Mm-hmm.
But how does it work? If I go, my vet, I feel like is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if I could talk my wife into it and we went to the vet down the street, it's always half the cost.
Right.
So what if my ACL is $15,000 because he sent me to A&L medical school, and down the street it would have been $10,000 because they have a traveling doctor who does it. Do you have a fixed amount that you pay for a certain surgery, or do you just kind of take it on case by case?
We do not. We take it case by case. We'll look at from a fraud perspective if we feel like, a particular vet office is, doing something egregious. But no, I mean, we do provide that flexibility.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
We also offer, especially for those high ticket items, sometimes there is a $20,000 bill that someone can't put on a credit card or afford outright, right?
Yeah.
They will call us. We'll do a pre-approval for them to let them know yes or no, this is not going to be covered based on your coverage, and this is about how much it would be. And then once we get that final invoice from the vet, we can definitely pay the vet direct. Those are more rare circumstances because it does take a couple of days. We still have to process that claim and make sure that we have previous medical records and things like that in order to figure out if there were any pre-existing conditions for that pet. So we let people know, hey, in these situations, if this is life-threatening, like we will do everything we can, but typically we won't do vet direct payment for something that we can't process
in a few hours.
In a few hours.
Yeah.
So we need a couple of days to do that still.
I'm
And some of the things we're working on, just from a claims automation perspective, are definitely around the reviews of those old medical records and veterinary notes and all that kind of stuff. So, even a year ago, I think some of these technologies weren't available, but now, large language modeling and all that is so readily available. We're starting to implement that in our processing to expedite things, and there's definitely, I think, going to be opportunity to even utilize that to automate some levels of pre-approvals, to Zabrina's point, to do that, in a matter of seconds, minutes, and
Wow.
Yeah, it's so helpful. I mean, our entire claims team, they're all previous vet techs, veterinarians, or some sort of vet experience. And
That's great.
we really realized, especially when we first started this business, we were hiring traditional claim adjusters, but they couldn't read the medical invoices. They didn't know what certain terms meant, or if this particular feature was needed in this type of a surgery. So we ended up hiring our first, maybe like third claim adjuster who had vet experience and had her claim adjusting license. It was kind of like a unicorn at first, right?
A unicorn. Yep.
So we hired her and then realized it is so much easier to train vet techs to get claim adjusting licenses than vice versa. So our entire
Absolutely.
Right.
made up of that, which is really awesome to help us out with all these things.
Right. I'm always interested in the risk, the bet in insurance, right? And I mean, most insurance companies are, they see the bet as a winning bet, or else why would you do it? So with animals, I'm just trying to think about my own personal experience with animals, and this plays into claims. Most of them live their life. It's pretty basic. They have their annual checkup. Maybe they need a tooth pulled or something through their, 14-year life, 12-year, whatever it is. And then, they get sick and something catastrophic, and that's the end of it. Is that what's most common? I mean, I think,
yes,
is pet health pretty
predictable?
Yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, there's definitely you'll keep hearing us say the unexpected.
Sure.
I mean, we have a personal friend, with a corgi puppy, the tiny little legs, just, was playing and fractured a leg, and $5,000 later to get it x-rayed and casted, was not something that was anticipated, right? Otherwise, in an otherwise healthy puppy. So that stuff does happen. Or, they certainly early on in a pet's life, you have things like kennel cough and all these things that can impact the younger pets. But yeah, I mean, as they get a little older, a year, 2, 3 years old, they should be pretty smooth sailing. But really the important component here is the understanding around pre-existing conditions. Is if you wait and don't have coverage through those healthy years, when you start entering into the unhealthy years, it's likely, or at least possible, that, again, whatever sort of health event says, oh my God, I should have had coverage. Again, it's too late to then go get the coverage. Right. So, that's really where, just similar to auto insurance, you're not going to buy a new policy from Geico and say, hey, I'm going to go test it out. Let's go get in an accident and get some value here. Right. So I just think it's a little bit of reframing it and getting people educated that, you are supposed to have this coverage while your pet is healthy. And then that allows you to benefit from it when the pet is not healthy.
I know we hate comparing it to car insurance, but it is very similar, right? You are responsible for the oil changes, putting gas or wash, right? Like you need to do what you need to do to maintain your car. And God forbid you get in an accident, you have car insurance.
And certainly don't buy car insurance through the body shop that is already, working on your car, right? So that's kind of our similarity, or that's our analogy to the vet office in some cases.
How interesting. In fact, I just sent my wife the link to to Odie Pet Insurance. I was like, hey, you got to check this out because we have 2 dogs. They're healthy, right? But I know one day they might not be.
Yeah.
And so I was like, she's always looking for pet insurance, and she always tells me we should have got pet insurance.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say it's not too late.
And something I do want to touch on with the pre-existing conditions, it's not like if your pet's had any sort of vet visit or anything like that, it's never going to be covered. It's for the obvious. If the pet already has a broken leg, we will not have had, right? But even that, if there's a minor fracture or something like that occurred 16 months ago and it's healed, we will cover another broken leg, right? So we try to be fair in that sense.
We see a lot of gastrointestinal claims coming in, so stomach issues or a lot of issues. Those seem to be the top 2, and again, those are unexpected. I mean, well, funny enough, one of the most common ones are ingesting something they're not supposed to.
Right.
So
that's my question for you. Is that covered? I'm not saying my dog eats food, like stuff he shouldn't all the time, but if he does and he gets sick, is that covered?
So it is, yes. And we look at it as a behavioral thing, right? It happens once, shame on me, right? Happens twice, shame on you, kind of a thing, right? So we've had one person in particular that I can think of, and I really hope you're not listening to this right now, but
I doubt they are.
Yeah. Their pet was eating socks constantly. And at the 3rd time, we're like, that's enough. Like, this is a behavioral issue. We are not covering this any longer. And this is in the policy that after a certain number of times, like, we consider it behavioral.
Yeah.
If it's happening a certain number of times within a certain time period, right?
Totally behavior. Yeah, totally.
You're now neglecting the safety of your pet, right? You are allowing it to eat all of these different objects and keeping it out of the way. And to a point where the 3rd one was very, very, very close to passing away. If she didn't get to the vet hospital on time, that pet would have passed away.
Oh my gosh.
So we strongly look at those cases in a mindset of pet neglect, which does happen. And
it absolutely.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Gosh, yes.
One of my very last questions I want to ask you about is about animal breed. So years ago, you had animals, right? You had golden retrievers and you had standard doodles, right? And now you have golden doodles, and everybody's mixing everything with everything. Does that make it harder? Like, I think some dogs could maybe get, shorter pug noses are hard to breathe, but you breed it in with another dog. Is it hard to underwrite or even to look at those things?
It is hard. I mean, to your point, there's a lot of trendy hybrids out there, crossbreeds. And it's a lot to keep up. Yeah, it's a lot to keep up. So we have some different rating factors that tries to pull components of the breeds that are present, right? And kind of either default to the, like, if it's a doodle versus a golden, for the golden is a higher rate. In some cases, we'll default to the higher rate. It just depends. It is a lot to keep up with, and something that, we're always updating in our rating engine, our subset of breed lists that people can choose from. And then we also have sort of catch-alls, right? We have a mixed breed, large, small, medium, rating factor as well, which folks can always default to. If it's a shelter pet, you don't know the true makeup. Things like that.
Do you have breeds that are an automatic denial?
That was my question.
That you don't cover, like
no
like
breed
a German
restriction.
Shepherd?
Yeah.
Pardon?
No, cover all dog and cat breeds. Obviously no wolves. There was a hybrid wolf question. No, we do not.
My brother had a wolf at one time, like part wolf. So yeah.
Yeah, so no, that was one of those. It is pretty crazy though. When we first started, we probably had about 450 breeds, and now we're up to about 1,700 different.
Yeah, I mean, everything becomes a breed all of a sudden, and you're like, that's not real.
Right.
It's pretty nuts.
Well, good. Well, it seems very interesting.
Very interesting. What do you guys love it? I mean,
We do.
Are you having a good time? Is it a gas?
I think we like insurance. We're in that way. I think
you're an insurance family.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that we've fallen in love with more and more, is really understanding how do you cover some of these specialty items. I think that's those are the lines that we like best, like very oddball type of thing.
Niche opportunities is sort of our what gets us excited in the morning. But no, I mean, Odie's been certainly a labor of love. Any sort of insurtech startup is never, it's never just perfect seas, right? So we've had ups and downs, and there's been ebbs and flows even in the venture capital markets in terms of finding funding.
Yes, right.
All the things that go into this. We're certainly not insulated from any of that. But at the end of the day, yes, we love working together. We love providing the service to these pet parents. We love the passion of our team. To Zabrina's points, a lot of former vet techs and people that come from the pet space, and there's just a different sort of level of passion there, which is always exciting.
They care a lot about what happens to these pets. It's not just a answer your phone call, send you to the next person, we're sending you to billing. Like these, our team is pretty awesome and pretty amazing.
Our vet for our cats is like, it just always amazes me how much the vet gentleman who's been there forever and his team really care about animals.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like having an animal. It's fine. That's my bias.
Yeah.
Okay, but they love animals. It's their thing. They're way into it. And I live with a woman, also known as my wife, who is insanely in love with our animals.
Yeah.
And so I get it, and I get why people would want to, make the investment in properly caring for their animals, because they're going to do it anyways. I mean, if they get sick, they're going to take care of the animal, because, like you said, I mean, they're part of the family.
Yeah. We do. Unfortunately, our older dog, when we were looking at pet insurance for him, he had already been diagnosed with skin cancer. So, funny enough, they told me he would be around for about a year, and it's 4 years later. So
Okay.
He's doing great, and doesn't seem like he's going anywhere anytime soon, which is fantastic.
Well, good.
Very grateful for that. But it disqualified him from insurance in general. And the more we educated ourselves about the pet insurance industry, the more we realized how much people need it.
You can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Got it. Yeah.
Well,
that's exactly what I wrote my wife.
It's been great having you on, and we'd love to check back with you. Companies like yours, I mean, when we first started the podcast, it was companies like yours that really intrigued us. Who are these crazy people that are willing to do this? And, fill in the blank of whatever it is that they're doing. But you guys, your entrepreneurial journey is very interesting, and we enjoyed having you. We'd love to have you back on. I mean, we didn't even really get deep into talking about your technology, and that's a whole
that could take another
that's an episode in its own right.
That is something we're really loving about being in the space as well, is getting educated and implementing these different technological tools, because I think the product line does lend itself for certain aspects of automation, which is very exciting. We love to try to be on maybe not the bleeding edge, but certainly early adopters in some of these tools.
Well, we wish you all the best. And even though we're very jealous of the fact that you're sitting in Vail, Colorado today.
I'm very jealous.
We'll be here for another week.
Yeah.
So come join us.
We do it in person. That's right.
That's nice. Have a good time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank y'all for being on.
Thank you, guys.
Pet insurance.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have thought? Who would have thought? It just goes to show you. You can bet on anything.
I liked what they said about it being a benefit for employees. Like we didn't jump into that, but I thought, hey, if that's a benefit your company can give you, and you check it off and say, I have a pet, I'd like that. Yeah. That would be a pretty cool benefit.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah.
Smart. Direct withdrawal right out of your paycheck.
It's almost like
really smart.
Miles and Zabrina kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, this is what happens when insurance people get into this, right?
Yeah. You get insurance people to create new insurance products. It's it's a pretty good deal. But yeah, what a great group to visit with today.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. We really appreciate them coming on with us and interrupting their time in Vail, Colorado.
I know. They had to sit inside when it's beautiful weather out.
And we appreciate that sacrifice. And we appreciate the sacrifice that you made by listening to us for all this time and all these years as we come up on, what are we at, 6.5 years? Long time. Long time. Anyways, we'll say that until next time.
Goodbye, everybody.